1-8, perimeter, circumference, and area, mostly of squares, triangles, rectangles, and circles. As you can see, the formulas below. Here are the formulas for perimeter, area, and that a lot of the like figures. Now, if you look here, the thing I want to point out is that when you're looking at squares, it says 4 times s. Perfect, exactly right. The other thing to do with perimeter is just add up all the sides. Remember, that would be s, that would be s, and that would be s. Add them all up. That works as well. Also, just taking s and squaring it works, or s times s, because it's the same thing as a rectangle, which would be base times height. Okay, so that's the easiest thing to do. Same thing, rectangle, you can add up all the sides. The thing also here that I need to point out is triangles is 1/2 the base times the height. In geometry, the height, and actually in anything, the height of a figure makes a right angle with the base. So you know that the height and the base are always going to be perpendicular to each other. So if you're looking at A, the height from there would be actually outside the triangle probably, or wherever it would be to be perpendicular to A or perpendicular to C. It's not necessarily going to be from the other vertex. As you can tell here, this drops straight down, makes it pretty simple. Find the perimeter of the whole figure. Here, they give you the width and the length of the interior rectangle, and this is a picture of a garden with a walkway around it, but I didn't want to write out all of it. So if you're looking at this, they say that this is 4 feet away from each side. So if my length here is 22, to find the length of the outside, I have to add the 4 to it, but remember, it's also 4 down here as well. Okay, so it's going to be 22 plus 4, which is 22 plus 8, which is 30. And it's the same thing over here. You got 4 centimeters, inches, or whatever they're talking about here. I think it's feet. It's 4 feet this way. It's also 4 feet this way. So 16 plus 4 is 20 plus 4. The width is 24. So finding the perimeter, remember this is 24. Up here is also going to be 24. And up here is also going to be 30. So my perimeter equals, they do it 2 times. You don't need to do that. The easiest way I found to do it is 30 plus 30 plus 24 plus 24. And my perimeter of this figure is 108. Depending on what the unit is feet, so it's going to be 108 feet. The unit doesn't change. Problem 2 is finding the circumference of circles. Circumference is basically the perimeter of your circles. So this is kind of along the same lines as the first one. If you remember from a couple of slides ago, circumference equals pi times diameter or 2 pi r. Really the same formula. The radius is just half the diameter anyway. So in this one, they give me the whole diameter. So circumference of this one is just going to be pi times 15. And if you're using exact terms, you would just write that as 15 pi. Okay, but if you punch in a calculator, I don't know, it's approximately 47.12. Okay? And B, they give you just the radius. So again, circumference equals pi d or 2 pi r. So I'm going to take 2 times pi times my radius, which is 4. So again, in exact terms, that's going to be 8 pi. Or roughly, if you punch in a calculator, 25.13. Problem 3 is about finding the perimeter in the coordinate plane. What's nice about this is you have the distance. I can tell that since my y-coordinates are the same here, this is a straight line. So I'm just going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The width of that is 6. The height of this triangle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So I have 2 of the 3 sides. To find the third side, I'm going to need to use the distance formula that we talked about yesterday to find the length of GE. So GE equals the square root of, and again, it doesn't matter which one you use, x1 or x2, so I'm going to go with the negative 3 minus 3 squared plus negative 2 minus 6 squared. Doesn't matter which one you use. That's going to give me the square root of negative 6 squared plus negative 8 squared ends up giving me the square root of 36. And remember, when you negative square it, it becomes positive, plus 64, which is the square root of 100. Okay, once we get that, take the square root, evaluate it, you get the length of that side is 10. So again, to find the perimeter, just take and add up your sides. 10 plus 8 plus 6. So 10 plus 8 plus 6 is going to be 24. Problem 4 is finding the area of a rectangle. Now, finding the area of the rectangle is pretty simple. It's just base times height or length times width or whatever you want to talk about. So it's just 2.5 times 5. But what I want to talk about again is fractions. So 2.5 to convert to an improper fraction is 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1. So you multiply these, you add 1. So 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and the denominator is 2. So when I'm going to find the area, I'm going to take 5, which is 5 over 1, times 5 over 2. Multiply your numerators. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 2 is 2. So 25 halves, or roughly 12.5. Problem 5, finding area of circle. Area of a circle equals pi times r squared. Okay, that's your formula for area of a circle. So area equals pi r squared. They give me, in this particular circle, the diameter, which is 16. So if diameter equals 16, how do I find the radius? Just divide that by 2. So my radius in this case is going to be 8. So in order to find my area, I'm just going to take pi and multiply it by 8 squared, which is going to end up giving me 64 pi. And I promise the last example is problem 6. I apologize for the length of this. It's just how many there are in this particular section. But problem 6 is finding the area of irregular shapes. When you have a shape that looks like this, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take this and break it into shapes that are familiar. So there's a rectangle, and in that case a square. There's a rectangle, and we have a third rectangle. So we know that this is 3 and this is 3. We know this is 3 by the markings. So if this whole line is 3 and 3, which makes this to be 6, our height is still 3 and nothing changes there. Okay, so now we have 6 and 3, which make this width 9. We also know this is 9 by the 2 marks on the side and the bottom. Again, your height is still 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and piece together and find the area of each one of these. So the area of the top is just 3 times 3, which gives me 9. So I'm going to put it right in there. Middle, the area is 6 times 3, which is 18. So I'm going to put that right there. And the bottom is 9 times 3, which is 27. And I'm going to put that in right there. So to find the total area of my figure, I'm going to take the areas separately. 9 plus 18 plus 27. I'm going to add them together, and I'm going to get 54. It's a total area. My unit is centimeters, so when we're dealing with centimeters and we're dealing with area, it's going to be centimeters squared. Again, don't forget your units.